Welcome to the Gatekeepers Podcast with Billy Grove, where the fence world gets real, raw, and unfiltered. Billy's not just an industry leader, he's a hands-on pro who knows what it takes to build quality fences and strong teams. So grab a cold one, settle in, and get ready for straight talk about the trade. Today's show is brought to you by Mr. Fence Academy, National Metal Industries, J.C. Gury Signs and Decals, and Orlando Hinge Company. If you're looking to hit the next level in your fence company, check out Mr. Fence Academy. Real fencers, real job sites, real training equals real results. And now, live from the Mr. Fence Academy studios, here's your host, Billy Grove.
What is going on, Fence fam? How's everybody doing? Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, if you're watching on there, guys. I hope everybody has had a wonderful past 7 days, and y'all had an awesome Tuesday. And I say y'all had an awesome Tuesday because this is a pre-recorded show, something a little bit different for us over here. But we're giving it a shot, and we're gonna see how it works, guys. We do have Mr. Sam Natello of DotCom Global Media on the show today. It's going to be an awesome show. So make sure that you stick around, watch, listen, follow. First and foremost, though, guys, we do have to give a huge shout out to all of our awesome sponsors who make this thing go round day in and day out. Sorry, I had a brain fart over there. First and foremost, we got Mr. Fence Academy, guys. If you are looking to up the level of your fence company, whether it be the business or the installation side, go check out Mr. Fence Academy at www.mrfenceacademy.com. Next up, we got National Metal Industries, guys. They just dropped a new line of aluminum hand railing. Comes in 6 foot wide and 8 foot wide sections, 3 foot tall. You can get them in white or black, and they are box kits. So everything that you need for that section comes in the box. Go check them out over at www.nmifence.com. Next up, we got J.C. Gury. If y'all are still looking for fence signs for your finished product to do that free marketing, free advertising, go over and check out the folks over at JC Gury at www.jcgury.com. All of your signs come with Mylar lamination, so that way they look great 10 years down the road. And last but not least, guys, we have Orlando Hinge Company, aka the Swan Hinge. If y'all are still struggling with these uphill swing double drive gates, do yourself a favor, go check them out. They work. I've used a lot of them. Awesome product. www.swanhinge.com. Boom. All right. So we've made it through that. And like I said just a couple minutes ago, we do have Mr. Sam Natello on from .com Global Media. We're going to hear all about his story. We're going to get a couple pointers for you guys who are still asking questions about SEO, websites. Is it worth it? Is it not worth it? And with that said, we're going to go ahead and get our guest on the screen, and we're going to get right to it. Hey, man, how are you?
What's up, buddy? Good to see you.
Good to see you, man. How you been?
Man, it's I'm blessed, man. Life is good.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So, for those who don't know you, could you give us a little introduction of yourself?
Absolutely. Happy to do that, and happy to be here too. Thanks for having me today.
Absolutely, man.
Well, I mean, professionally, I am the owner and founder of .com. We are a website design and digital marketing agency. We started way back in 1995. So we actually just celebrated our 30th year last year. So I guess we're going into 31. Started .com after earning 2 degrees, undergrad degrees in math and computer science, and then went on and got a master's degree in informational data systems. So I am like way geekier probably than I look. And so professionally, that's kind of my background. And then personally, I'm a husband, I'm a father, I'm a grandfather of 3 awesome little granddaughters who just live down the road a few minutes from me. And I guess motivationally, I'm driven by my Christian faith, and I am an absolutely relentlessly driven dude. That's who I am.
That's awesome. Yeah. That's awesome, man. So, Now that we got you on the show, let's find a little bit more about you. So you said you started this in 95, right?
Yes, sir.
What were you doing before 95 that kind of opened the door to this life after 95?
Yeah. 95 was definitely a pivot year for me in my life. I was 25 years old at that time. But I was prior to that, I was a high school math and computer teacher. Football coach, wrestling coach, living my best life, man. It was great. I coached and taught at a state championship high school team, and like everything was great. And I went back to work on my master's degree, frankly, because they pay teachers more if you have your master's degree. That was my only intention. And but it was a brand new program, as you can imagine. In 1995, the internet was pretty new.
Yeah, it was.
And so, man, I'm telling you, the first day I walked into the first class, I was like, oh my gosh, dude, I love this. This is amazing. And I kind of knew that I was probably going to leave teaching. I'm telling you, first day, first class, I'm like, I'm going to leave teaching. I was made for this. So, I didn't know what was going to happen. I had no entrepreneurial background. My parents both worked for big companies, and there was nobody in my family that was like, hey, go start a business or whatever, So right. I had a heck of a lot to learn, but it was very awesome because back in 1995, it was new to everybody. There were no experienced web designers, digital agencies. So I was figuring it out at exactly the same time that the few people that were also getting started, like that was it. It was so that's what happened. And I don't know. Like I said, I'm relentless. I'm a smart guy. I'm going to work hard. And I found my little niche in how to be successful. And here we are 31 years later. And I love it. It was the best decision I ever made in my life.
That's awesome, man. So I did a little bit of research into you and .com, and I found out that you were not always 100% fence industry specific. Is that true?
That is true. We made the jump about roughly 10-ish years ago.
Okay. And what was the deciding factor to go all in on one industry out of all of them?
Yeah, I'll tell you what, man. You're a business owner. Presumably, many of the folks that are listening to this podcast are business owners as well, or some of them perhaps want to be business owners. Making a decision like that to say, hey, we're going to affirmatively move in this direction, very tightly, very very narrowly focused, is a very scary decision. It's not an easy decision. It was made easier probably in my life because my wife and I had run a successful agency for, basically about 2 decades at that point. So we had some money behind us. We were stable. It's a different decision if you're in your first few years of business. Let's be real. But it really kind of fell in our lap. It was nothing that I started intentionally. So our background, I was very blessed. We worked with some massive companies. Again, I was early in the process, but we worked with Nike, Disney, Johnson & Johnson, Purina. So we had an incredible background. And because of that background, Active Yards, who is now Catalyst, a division of Barrett, reached out to us and wanted help with their big corporate stuff. And we were qualified to do that because of our background, but I didn't know anything about fence. I had no idea, and so as we got to work with those guys and got intertwined with them very deeply, I still did not know anything about the contractor side of the business. I was working with Barrett and Active Yards, man, right. and multiple of their sub brands below that. I think at one point we were working with like 7 or 8 of their brands, but it was all manufacturer stuff, all corporate stuff, which is what I was used to mostly. And one day I got a call from them, and they said, hey, we have these contractors all over the country that install our fence. And I'm like, yeah, I'm aware that exists, but I don't know that part of the business. And they said, we'd like to develop a pilot program so that we can maybe help them with get better websites, rank better on Google, drive more traffic. And if we do that, maybe they'll sell more of our fence.
Right.
And so, what would a pilot program look like, for maybe our top 12 dealers across the country, our top 12 installers. And we came up with a program. They liked it. We did it. And so we basically were handed our first 12 fence contractors. The contractors did not hire us. Active Yards hired us for the contractors. They were
Okay.
paying the bills. So one of the folks in that group is Sean King. I'm sure, you mentioned Mr. Fence Academy is one of the sponsors of this program. But Sean King and 11 other, big time installers around the country were handed to us. And that's when we learned that part of the business. And that's when I made the decision, because Active Yards, love them, great, it was terrific, Barrett and all those sub brands, but it was kind of more of the same. It was corporate. We'd always worked corporate. It was more of the same. But when I met folks like Sean King and then the other contractors, I was like, oh my gosh, dude, I love these dudes. These are great dudes. I love these fence dudes. And
Right.
at that point in time, I was like, well, I'm at a stage in my life where I want to work with people that I want to work with. I don't have to take any client just because they can pay a bill. And so my wife and I decided, like, yeah, we're gonna focus here and work with people that we like. And it's that simple.
Man, that's awesome. That's an awesome story to hear, that you went from, big brands such as Nike, Johnson and Johnson and stuff like that to us little old like fencers. It's really cool and kind of refreshing at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, you guys, there's passion. You guys are hard workers. You're the guys, I played football and wrestled in college and of course then in high school. And like, I just saw the fence guys as like, these are the same guys that I was in the locker room with, the tough
Right.
dudes, at whatever level, the guys that are going to bloody your nose and they're going to get right back up and go again. And like, it's just, that's not what you find in the corporate boardroom.
Right.
And the passion of folks, maybe like yourself. I don't know your specific personal situation very well, but most of the time, fence contractors are, they are worried about sometimes whether they can even pay the bills or keep a crew on the road or save for retirement one day, hopefully. And is my daughter going to be able to go to college? Am I going to be able to afford that? Like, those are real world things that people are passionate about, and the stakes are high. And that's just, I'm just happy to be able to help with all that.
Man, that's awesome. So we're going to change the direction now. Awesome story, man. I love hearing it every single time. So why does all of these terms, SEO, website, AI, why does all that matter in 2026?
Well, 2026 is the craziest year as I'm looking forward in the 31 years that I've been in this business. This is a pretty crazy year. So my answer may be a little bit different than I would have answered it for the last decade or two.
Yeah.
Look, we with the changes in the world and society, everybody embraces technology. You can make an argument 5 or 10 years ago that like old people don't know how to use computers. You gotta, or certainly 15 years ago that absolutely would be the case. But everybody uses technology now. So many people don't even bother to sit down at a PC, a full size computer anymore. They've got the phones. They speak into the phone. Anything you want, all the way down to an order of fries and a Coke from McDonald's. You just grab the phone and say, hey, I want this thing, get it to me. So this is how we think, with how transient the entire population is. The folks, even the companies, the fence companies that are like, we've been the market leader for 60 years. We're a second generation, third generation fence company. Everybody knows us. That is not true. I don't care what community you're in. Sure. There are some that know you. There's no question about that.
Right.
But there is a significant portion of that population that doesn't have a clue who you are because they've owned that house for about 5 minutes. They just moved into the community and they are going to pick up the phone and they're going to say, find me a fence company near me. And if you don't pop up, you might as well not exist. So yeah, the websites and all the things, SEO and all the things that go into it are literally the difference between life and death for fence companies moving forward.
Right. And just real quick, like how I kind of explain it to our like younger guys who are here working with us, I was like, reviews are everything. And it's like being ranked in the phone book back in the day. It's like, why do you think so many companies were named AAA or pound sign, whatever? That's because they were in the top of the phone book. And you're like, oh, we've never even seen a phone book. I'm like, yes. So that's why things matter. I'm trying to like get those two things to relate to them. And that was like the easiest way I knew how to do it. But it actually clicked and made sense for them. But being up there on the top of the list, like you said, is crucial.
It's everything. One of the great lessons I learned, because I had no background in marketing, right? When I talked about my pedigree, it was all geek stuff. I can code anything. I can have your computer whistle Dixie to you in German backwards if I wanted to, right? I could have it do anything as a geek. But I did not have a marketing background, but I worked with Nike and Disney. I mean, these are some of the top marketing companies on the planet.
Yeah.
So I learned so much from the best. I'm very, very, blessed that I had that opportunity. I say that because what I learned from them is whatever business you think you're in, whatever business I would think that I am in, most people would answer incorrectly. You are not in the fence business. I am not in the web design business, any more than Nike is in the sneaker business. We are in the marketing of fence for you. I am in the marketing of web design and SEO for me. Nike was in the marketing of sneakers and athletic wear, right? So every business owner, your primary business is the marketing of your business, whether you know it or not. That is your primary job.
Right. Very true.
Yeah.
Okay. So what makes a website stand out instead of just looking pretty in this day and age then?
Well, all the things that go into it that make it rank at the top, that's the biggest thing. You have no traffic, you have no rankings, you are not going to be very successful. So all the stuff, all that SEO stuff that goes into making those rankings happen, that whole big group of stuff, we can certainly dive into that if you would like, but that stuff, it certainly has to be there. And then once you get the traffic, you better have the stuff on the site that captures people's attention. Our attention spans are very, very short.
Mm-hmm.
You have to make sure the site is organized in such a way that people can find the information that they want very, very quickly and easily, because they're not going to struggle for it. If they have any trouble finding it, they're just going to bounce. And if you can cross over that threshold to actually legitimately be useful and interesting and possibly educational, that all of a sudden people, most people are not really going to a website to be educated. I think that's a mistake that a lot of folks have. However, if you can interest them enough where you switch their mind and all of a sudden they're like, oh, I didn't know that. And now you move them into that mindset, you have won that battle. So there's a lot of little sub layers that go into this, but those are just some, and of course, how do you do that? Beautiful visuals and great graphics, compelling information, strong headlines, things like that.
Right. Well, hey man, that makes a lot of sense. Can you explain SEO to the actual fence guys out there who may not have a very strong understanding of it?
Sure thing, man. I'll de-geek the SEO term. We'll try to do that. So talking about SEO, I think you have to talk about what it was and now what it is. And I'm not trying to give anybody a history lesson, but if you don't know where things came from, at least a little bit, it doesn't necessarily make sense where things are today.
Right.
So SEO up until about a year ago So basically for nearly, well, I don't want to say 30 years. I mean, Google didn't even come around until I think .com was around for like, I think it was like 8 years or 10 years before even Google came around, but whatever, 10, 15 years, whatever it was. SEO was always one thing. 20 years, maybe it was always one thing. And then last year it changed. So that's how big of a deal last year was. So SEO was primarily search engine optimization. Basically, Google more or less would tell you what it wants, and then your job was to deliver what it wants. Now, a lot of folks don't know what that list is, and the list, it's like the formula for Coke. Coke doesn't tell you what their exact formula is, but we all if you care to know, you all kind of know basically the ingredients. You just don't know how much, or whatever. So Google was exactly the same way. They would not tell you exactly what they wanted, but it was pretty clear the types of things that they wanted you to do. So as an SEO person or as a business owner, search engine optimization was simply getting your website in alignment with the stuff that Google told you that they want you to do. So things like make sure that the website loads quickly, that you don't have any viruses, a whole bunch of code errors, things like that you didn't somehow get blacklisted, stuff like that. So that would be one level. Another level, we call that Google suicide. If you made any of those mistakes, you're dead. So you don't want to make any of the mistakes. You want to make sure that you get, good keywords on the site so that you are communicating to Google. Yes, we are a fence company. Yes, we do residential fence. Yes, we install vinyl fence. And you need to make sure that you get all your keywords on there. You'd be shocked how many fence companies, this is absolutely insane to me, how many fence companies ask us to evaluate their website, and you can go to their homepage and it literally not one time on the homepage says fence company. Not one time. It's insane. So, you can, let alone, hey, we're a fence company in Nashville, or we're a fence company in Nate, right? So you kind of need, so if you mess this up, it's a big deal. It sounds simple. It is simple, but man, you kind of have to have a checklist to make sure, did I do this? Did I do that? Did I do this? So that's all the on-site stuff, making sure your site is correct. And then there's stuff that has to happen off of your website. Make sure that your directory listings with Google and Bing and Apple, that they're all correct. If you're doing a really good job, you might be registered with the Better Business Bureau, your local chamber of commerce, and things like that. You're posting blog article content out on the web. So that's all the stuff you could do off of the site. So that's SEO as it's always existed. Now there's a big change. All that stuff is true. You can't ignore any of that. The reason I bothered even talking about that is because you still have to do all that. But now with AI has really upped the game in a major way. You can, as to where you or I mean, how long would it take me to write out a pretty quality blog article? Let's say, I don't know, an hour.
Yep.
Right. So I would be, as an individual, as a human, limited to, probably a maximum of 8 blog articles a day. If that was the only thing I was doing, which of course, you have a business, we're doing stuff. So it was hard for a business to do more than like 1 or 2 blog articles a week because you have so much else to do. Dude, with AI, I could rip out 500 blog articles for you by lunch.
Yep.
Right. Yep. So Google has now completely diminished. I mean, completely diminished the significance of publishing content. Doesn't care. Does not care. Now, does it care if it's high quality, authoritative, original, unique content? Yes. So that's where AI can't help you. If and I don't want to get off track here. I think this is a topic we'll probably hit later on. Yep. But a lot of folks are reaching into AI and asking AI to automate and do a whole bunch of stuff. And you're just making a whole pile of AI trash that Google has already explicitly told us that it does not care about. And if you do it too much, you actually can get yourself deranked.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, so there's real things here. So that I kind of went into the what you shouldn't do, but there are some specific things that you need to do to rank better for AI now. And really what this means is SEO, search engine optimization. The definition of that has really changed to search everywhere optimization.
Okay.
So you gotta be listed everywhere. Oh, I'm a member of the AFA. Let's get listed on their website. I'm a member of FWA. Can we get listed on their website? I'm a member of Mr. Fence Academy. Will Mr. Fence Academy list me as a member of their thing? I'm a BBB member, a local chamber of commerce member. I actively engage with their website, and I'll write like a little guest post or something that's authoritative, and I want to get listed and ranked. And when people are saying, when authoritative sites are looking for who are the top 3 fence companies in the Atlanta market, I want to do everything I can to get on that best of list,
Right.
So it's that kind of stuff that you always mattered, but it really matters now.
Okay. That actually fully makes sense. So I see a lot of questions on the fence pages, and they pertain to, are paid ads worth it? What is your take on that?
Paid ads are a tool in your tool belt. Like any tool, you have to use the right tool at the right time in the right hands.
Right.
There's no question that paid ads can be worth it. They are the highest cost per lead of any approach. So, as aware, and it depends, like I'm going to put some numbers out that are going to be so far wrong for some markets because every market is different. Please nobody hold me to account that this is or is not what you're seeing. But for example, it's not uncommon for like a Google local service ad, which are great ads for contractors and fence companies. It could easily be $60-$80 per lead, per contact through Google local service ads. Some markets are like less than half of that. Some markets are almost twice that. Like, that's crazy.
Right.
Can you imagine paying $120, $130 per lead, depending on what market you're in? So we see the average seems to be kind of between $60 to $80 per market. That's a lot of money. That's just a lead. That's not a sale.
Yeah.
That's not a sale, right? So how good are you at converting those leads? That's where I think a lot of folks ask questions about, is it worth it? Because in the end, if you are a lockdown killer salesman, you're responsive. The lead came in and you were on it, and you can sell ice to an Eskimo. Then and your conversion rate is really high. But what's $60 to get a new client? It's nothing. Yep.
Nothing.
Right? That's nothing.
Yeah.
But if you burn through 8 or 10 leads before you can actually sell one, now you're like, you're at $600, $800 for a sale. That changes the equation a little bit.
Absolutely does.
So
Absolutely does.
the type of lead that the type of ad that you're running, because local service ads are one, regular Google pay-per-click, you've got meta ads, there's all kinds of different ads. So what did you pay in the first place? How good is that maybe landing page that you're sending them to? Is that a high quality, high converting landing page? How effective are you as a salesperson, especially in how responsive you are? All of those things go into the equation about whether paid ads are worth it or not.
Very true. Very true, man. That was a good take to hear on that one. We are going to hit commercial break real fast, and we'll be back in 3 minutes. Okay?
Yes, sir.
National Metal Industries, a family-owned business for 70-plus years, has grown to be recognized for their ability to deliver on not just privacy slats for fence, but all types of fence products. National Metal Industries has all the hardware and tools to get the fence professional in and out of their job with the most ease possible. You can count on National Metal Industries for the most convenient resources in fence products. Visit nmifence.com for more information. As we like to say, you can always pick it right at National. J.C. Gury Signs and Decals has been a trusted name in the sign industry since 1949, with all manufacturing done in-house from start to finish right here in the USA. With 75 years in outdoor signage and roots dating back to the 1920s, J.C. Gury specializes in durable, high-quality signs and decals. In-house screen printing since the 1970s ensures every product meets the highest standards. Visit jcgury.com for more information. Every aluminum sign includes Mylar lamination at no extra cost, extending product life in tough outdoor conditions. For unmatched quality and longevity, visit jcgury.com. Struggling with a gate that drags on your sloped yard? Orlando Hinge Company has the solution, the Swan Hinge. Unlike standard hinges, the Swan Hinge lets double drive gates swing open smoothly up inclines, eliminating dragging and binding. Easy to install on vinyl, aluminum, wood, and chain link gates. It's built for durability and made to withstand the elements. And when your customer hears that, yes, their gates can work on a slope, you just made the sale. The Swan Hinge, designed by fencers for fencers. Made in the USA, lifetime warranty. Order today at swanhinge.com or email info@orlandohingecompany.com. The Swan Hinge, because every gate deserves to open smoothly.
All right, guys, we are back in real quick. Just got to give one more shout out, man. If you are looking to up the level of your fence company, whether it be the business or the installation side, go check out Mr. Fence Academy at www.mrfenceacademy.com. Even if you don't join the academy, get yourself to a training, meet some people, network, learn some stuff. Promise you, you'll have fun. We have Mr. Sam Natello on from DotCom Global Media. For those of you who are just joining us, coming in late, whatever may have happened. We've been talking about kind of Sam's journey into this whole thing. We've been talking about what SEO means, all of this other stuff for those of you guys who don't know. And we're going to dive right back into it. Let's see. We were talking about paid ads right before that. Sam, what is one of the things that you see the most successful fence companies doing online that others are not?
Man, that's a great question, buddy. Listen, before I jump into that answer, I was just watching those commercials you just had. You have an incredible lineup of sponsors. I love every one of those companies, dude. They're great.
They're awesome.
Good for you, man.
They're awesome, man. I really do like the people at every single one of them too.
Yeah.
Not
Absolutely.
Just saying that. Like
that's like an all-star list of sponsors right there, buddy.
Yeah.
You're doing all right. All right. What do successful fence companies do from like a marketing website and marketing standpoint? Is that the question?
Yeah.
Well, man, that's such a great question. And as you can imagine, you can't really necessarily boil it down to one thing or a few things, but I'll do my best to try to hit some of the big ones. We'll see where this all takes us here. But one thing is that they are an active partner. I would say that's the biggest difference between some folks that struggle with working with a digital marketing company, whether it's us or someone else, is that you can't just write somebody a check and think that any problem in your life is ever going to go away. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way for your attorney. Like they still need information from you. It doesn't work that way with your digital marketing company. So certainly when you pay someone, they're going to do the best that they can, hopefully, but your involvement, the more involved you are, the more active you are, the more knowledgeable you are about what your role is as being an active partner, you will get better results. It's just the way it is. That might mean getting Google reviews, for goodness sakes, being, and getting to be an expert in what it takes for you guys to get those Google reviews, taking better project photos, taking, more consistent project photos, before and after videos, answering questions and providing local expert authoritative content about what it, and that might just mean answering a few questions,
Right.
and telling your marketing company about trends you're seeing in the local market, because you've got the boots on the ground. You know what it's like to be a fencer in the area. They don't, we don't. I don't, I live in Naples. I know what it's like to put a fence up in Naples. I do know that. But wherever you are, it's a different thing. So I just really, really want to encourage anyone who hires a web company, digital marketing company, please don't assume that just because you're writing a check that takes care of the problem. You have a role. So that the most successful fence companies tend to be the ones that are most active in being a good, what we call an active partner.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So basically you get in you get out what you put in, huh?
Like everything in life. Is there anything in life where that's not true?
No, not at all.
Yeah.
So,
This is no different. Marriage included, by the way, guys. Pay attention to your wives.
absolutely, guys. Pay attention and do things.
No doubt. So that would be number one. Number two would be paying attention to your brand. And I do definitely need to explain this a little bit, because I think that especially a lot of the newer fence companies, they hear a word like a brand, and they're like, oh yeah, I got a logo. A logo is an asset of your brand, but the logo by itself is not your brand, right? The colors that you chose for your company is not your brand. It's part of the brand. Your catchphrase, keeping dogs safe, whatever. That is part of your brand. Your brand is what we call the promise that you make to the world about the experience that they're going to have dealing with you, working with you, whatever, right? That's what it is. When you think about McDonald's, you can picture right away the experience that you expect to have. If you drive up through McDonald's, you can play that whole video out. Exactly what that's going to look like, right? And you walk into a Starbucks, you could literally smell it, right? So you have experiences with these brands. You as a fence company, it is your job to establish your brand, because moving forward, brand is all you have. It's all you have. AI is going to do everything for everybody. Your search rankings and all that kind of stuff are going to matter. But dude, we are about 2 years away from somebody saying, they may not. Let me tell you where I think this is going to go. I think this is 2 to 3 years at the most. I'm shopping for a dog, right? It might let me go back even further. My daughter just turned 5. My AI knows that I have always had a dog and knows that I have been holding off on getting a dog until my daughter got a little bit older, because I'm afraid that the dog might hurt the kid. So one day, this is going to happen really soon. One day the AI is going to show up here and say, hey, Cindy just turned 5. You want to think about getting her a dog? And it's like, yeah, I'll set you up an appointment. Like, done. It's done, right? And like, hey, by the way, because you're getting a dog, you might want to consider a fence. Do you want me to set up an appointment for a fence company to come out here, give you an estimate? And that AI is going to talk to your AI as a fence company, and there's going to be an entire conversation set up, an appointment set up, and that whole thing. And all you know is you got a ping like, hey, I have to go to the Johnson's house. That's where this is going.
Right.
So how do you make sure that the AI agents that are going to be driving the vast majority of the buying decisions in the next 2 or 3 years, how do you make sure that the AI agents choose your company instead of the other companies around you? That's the problem that we're solving. That's the problem we're focused on. But in order for you to do that, it actually is going to come down to your brand. How authoritative are you? How trustworthy are you? How distinct are you? How clear is your message? Because if you are the local expert that's the most trusted expert in putting fences in that are proven to be good and safe and great solutions for little kids and dogs specifically, then AI is going to be like, yeah, this is the company that I want to trust for this particular issue.
Makes sense.
So anyway, I'm going future geek a little bit, but dude, if we're not worried about this today, we
Right.
won't be ready for it tomorrow. So that's where we are on things. So I think I get a little bit off track. I'm passionate. Can you tell I love this stuff?
Absolutely can.
This stuff. Yeah.
So what I'm hearing is if you're not dabbling in AI today, you're going to be left behind tomorrow.
I have been accused of being a fearmonger, so I don't want to do that. I think when you look towards the future a lot, the future feels a lot closer to you maybe than it does to some other folks.
Okay.
It is obvious to me and unquestionable that the story I just told you is going to be true. It just may not feel as real to some of the other folks who don't look down that road that far,
Right.
So you don't necessarily have to be messing with AI that much right now, although I think that would be a mistake. I think there's a lot of gain to get there. But I'll tell you what, man, by mid-year, certainly by the end of the year, you better be really serious. Do you see my cat's tail?
I do. I was about to say something. I see a cat.
Yeah, it's not too late, but you better start thinking about getting after it.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you were like me, I don't know, I've been using AI for probably about a year and a half now, but before I was finally put into it, I was completely against it. Completely 100% against it. And I thought that it was going to be like those sci-fi movies I watched growing up and all of that stuff. But I have to say, once you really get comfortable with it, it is a very great tool in my tool pouch. I have to say, I use it almost every single day, and it's awesome. I mean, like you said, it can type out 500 essays by lunchtime versus you can only do 8. So learn. I would highly suggest to just start dabbling in it personally and just get yourself familiar with it if you're not familiar with it, if that's not something that you use in your personal or business life. But moving on, I see a lot of people also ask questions about what content really matters as far as posting wise, social media, website. I see a lot of guys arguing between TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, all of this other stuff. What in your opinion would be some of the best content in our day and age?
Man, you're asking great questions, man. You're hitting right to the heart of the issues that are out there. So I think there's, again, dude, so many different ways to answer this. I think the first thing is your goal. Some folks are asking that question because they are worried about their rankings. They want to make sure that they're getting, the content out there so that they rank on Google or AI or whatever. If that's the goal, then the answer is all of them. You have to get content out there everywhere, put it all search everywhere optimization, right? You got to get out there. If your goal is immediate conversion, then Facebook tends to be a better place for that kind of stuff. But again, you have to do it well. You can't just, there's a difference between doing it and doing it well.
Correct.
Correct. We're just looking at what channel to look at right now. And then we can talk about the content specifically in a second. If, the younger generation who are probably still too young to buy houses, the TikTok group is a little bit younger. They are aging up, but also is the age of the first-time home buyer, right? So once upon a time, if I forget what the number was, I saw this stat not that long ago, and I see it all the time, but I forget the exact number. But let me just make something up that's roughly real, is that the first-time home buyer some time ago, average age was something like 28 or something like that. The first-time home buyer now, I believe I saw, is late 30s or maybe even 40 now.
Correct.
So that when you see something like the average age of a TikTok user has really gone up in years. They're not up in the upper 30s or 40s yet, you know? So
Right.
that may not be the right audience to target if you're trying to make a sale right now. But if you're trying to build your personal brand and authority and have people follow you and get to know who you are, TikTok is a great solution. So you do need to know what your goals are. And then like anything else, you got to match the proper goal with the proper outlet.
Right.
Now, as far as content, this is such an easy answer. Whatever you are interested in is the thing that you should do.
Absolutely.
Because you'll be passionate about it. You're going to get good at it. You're going to understand it. You're going to want to do it. So I don't care if you take the geek side of fence and you want to talk about, you know, why, and you want to really get into like a Sean King might do about the, you know, how many pounds per square inch when you're driving these posts, and, you know, and he does all that stuff, and he's got it so geeked out where he, you know, we could do 1.7 sections of how this fence per minute and all, right? It's fascinating to listen to him talk about that.
It is.
Because he's so passionate about it, he makes it interesting, right? So, you know, it does not matter what you do. It does not matter what you talk about. If you truly are interested in it, it's going to be better quality and it's going to come off way better.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So another thing that I see people ask under that is, you know, how often should I post content? Am I getting on people's nerves if I do it every day? Am I losing traction if I only do it once a week? Like, there seems to be no middle ground there.
Yeah. So respectfully, anyone that's asking that question is working off a very old set of rules. That's the way it worked before in the old algorithm, before we TikTokified all of the social media channels. So when the size of your audience was the critical issue, which is easily a year behind us at this point, then yeah, you had to worry about that kind of stuff, because when you publish content, that content primarily went to your audience, a percentage of your audience, right? Like you published a thing and 100% of your audience did not get served that up, right? So actually it's a very, very small percentage of that. And then if that small percentage that was served up clicked enough and responded enough, then the algorithm would say, oh, this must be pretty good content. And then it would serve it up to a bigger percentage of your audience. And if that was still good, then it would serve it up to a bigger percentage of your audience. So that's kind of how that used to work out. And if you got it good enough, then it started leaking out to folks that were not part of your audience. But that's how that used to work. Now it is all based on interest. You do not have to be a follower of me. You do not have to care you've never had to hear about me. But if you have showed an interest in digital marketing, for example, and maybe a specific aspect of digital marketing, maybe right now you're trying to figure out how to get more Google reviews, and you've done that search recently and you've watched a video or two or whatever, and you've shown that you have an interest in that. And I just shot a video about that very thing. There is a very good chance that my video is going to be served up to you, even though you are not a follower of mine. You're not. So it's not even social media anymore. It's interest media.
Okay.
So when you understand the algorithm, then you understand it does not matter how often you publish content. What does matter is how good is the content that you're publishing, and how good of a job did you do publishing it. So you you made great content, hopefully. You were interesting and hit all the key marks and everything. So you did the video piece is excellent, but then you have to publish it excellently. You have to make sure it's titled well, that you've got the proper keywords and descriptions in, right? That you've put it into the system properly and completely, right? So and if you do all that, then you're going to be fine. So it doesn't matter, do one great piece of content every week, do one great piece of content every other week. I mean, hopefully you could do better than that,
right?
But that's better that's better than putting out 5, 10, 15, 20 worthless pieces of garbage a week, because that they won't do anything. You just pile up garbage.
That makes sense. Garbage in, garbage out, right?
Yep.
That totally makes sense. All right. Well, that answers a whole lot of questions I had personally to that, because some of these questions I have some personal interest in as well for my own reasons. So, all right. So moving back to a fence contractor's website, if little Timmy over here could fix 3 things on his website, what would be the first 3 things to fix?
So the first thing you want to do is make sure that you're not committing Google suicide. Those things I talked about earlier. There are tools that you can use to test your website. To check for like code errors. There's a tool from the internet itself called code validation. If you just anybody that's interested in this, they know how to get a hold of me, I guess, because you have my email or whatever. So I'll be happy to send you a list of tools. But so the first thing that you can do is you can scan with these free tools online. Make sure you use the right tool, because a lot of these tools are trying to sell you something. So if you use the wrong tool, they're going to score you badly no matter what, because they want you to buy their thing. So you got to make sure that you're using the right tool. So make sure that you're not committing Google suicide, that your site is technically sound, or you have no chance of ranking. And then you would have to get back with your web designer and make sure they fix those issues. That's number 1. Number 2, if you did not pay attention to the actual content on your website, and you let the web designer mostly write it, and especially your company about us page, that is critical. Can I wrap back around to that at the end here? All right. So that one is critical. So make sure that your content is authentic, that it's not just generalized garbage that some web designer made who doesn't really know the industry. And then without question, the quality of your photos is everything. We buy with our eyes. If I see an amazing, beautiful photo of a fence, that tells me so much. If the picture's worth 1,000 words, right? But if you have a bunch of low quality contractor photos where the lighting sucked, and you stood way out in the street and the fence is way off in the distance, so because you wanted to get the whole fence to the point where you can't see the fence, and nobody even bothered to move the trash can or the garden hose. Like that's the kind you got to do better than that. So those 3 things have to happen. But I want to go back to that company page. So we are in an era where nobody trusts anybody anymore, right? I have no idea, dude. If I don't know if I don't know the number that's calling me on this phone, I don't answer it.
Same.
Right? Like, so if I go to your website and I can't see your face, and I can't see the faces of some of your key team members, and I don't see your truck that's got a sign on it, wrap, or at least a coffee mug with your logo sitting next to a pile of pickets or so, right? Like, you got to show people that you're actually human. This is who I am. That I'm not Charles Manson going to show up to your house and axe murder your family while you're at work, right? Like you gotta take those steps. That if you can build the trust, then you can get the lead. No trust, no lead.
True. Very true. And, that goes a long ways too. I forget who said, I think it might've been Joe Everest, who said, his podcast or show or videos helped him to where he was knocking on the door, and the job was already sold because they already knew him by first and last name. And that goes a long way. It really does. Whenever somebody goes to your website and they see a picture of the foreman and just say little Timmy is the foreman, and he walks up and Mrs. Jones is like, "Hey, I know you. You're on High Steel's website. You were born here in Pensacola. That's awesome, because I want somebody from Pensacola here to do my fence." So,
right. And Joe, I heard him tell that story where the person that answered there said, "Oh, it's you. I didn't expect you to be here. Well, who am I? I'm Joe, right? But because they saw him on video online, I had a similar experience last year when I went to Fence Tech. I'm on the plane. I'm out there a day early. We're gonna be speaking, doing our thing, and a woman runs up to me in the airport as I'm getting off the plane, and she's asking me, I swear to God, she's asking me for my autograph. She wants to take a picture of me. And she wants me to sign a thing because she loves me on YouTube. She can't believe that she just met me. Her and her husband are going to Fence Tech for the very first time. And they're, of course, really excited. They were in the fence business for a short period of time, and everything is new and big, and they're trying to figure it out. And they're so excited that they're going to be out here at Fence Tech. And on their plane is Sam Natello. I can't believe it, right? And it's like, it's so silly, but this, when you can, whatever you can do to establish that, these people felt like they knew me. And just like Joe, it's like, that is a true story. It happens. It totally happens.
Yeah, I mean, I got a little funny one too. Actually happened a couple months ago. I was at Home Depot grabbing something. I don't even know. I think it was a drill bit or something. I was walking around Home Depot and I heard, "Hey, are you Billy Grove?" And I turned around and I was like, "Yeah, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Who are you?" He's like, "I watch your podcast online." I'm like, "All right, that's awesome, man. That is freaking awesome." He's like, "I just wanted to actually, put a face to the name and actually meet you." I was like, "Okay, that's cool." And like, I walked away. I texted my wife. I was like, "That was really weird. That was really weird." But I guess in all reality, that's what I'm going for, right? And she's like, "Yes, that is exactly what you're doing this for." I was like, "Oh, I mean, yeah, but but like the first time that happens, it just kind of takes you by surprise. You're like, I'm just a regular dude in here trying to buy a my drill bit,
Yeah.
But it really does work putting yourself out there. It makes people, especially in this day and age, it makes people feel like they actually know you before they know you. And calms people's nerves a lot, especially in this day and age where contractors are, running off with people's money, going to prison for 15, 20 years for stealing millions of dollars. I mean, it happens everywhere. So I'm a firm believer in putting you and yourself out there, being transparent. That way people can know you before they even call you. That's huge for me.
Spot on. You're exactly right.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So we're nearing the end here, but I do have one question. I see a lot of guys also say, this website company was too much, and are there YouTube videos to where I can do it myself? It's the age old, should I hire somebody or should I really do it myself? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, you always have to do the right thing at the right time. Right. Like I have a beautiful Tesla car, right? But and it's worth every penny of it because I can afford it. It would not have been worth it back in the day when I couldn't afford it. So if you are at the age and stage where you're ready to go kind of to the next level, whatever that means for you, you need a pro. If you're just getting started and budgets are tight, then all you're going, unfortunately, we all went through it. I went through it as a new businessman also, right? Like there's a progression. Yeah. And just because you want things to be awesome doesn't mean they're going to be awesome today. You got to struggle for a little while. That's just the nature of the business. When you are at that struggle stage and everything comes down to dollars and cents, the only type of agency that you're going to be able to afford would be kind of a discount agency. I am here to tell you, save your money. I've in 31 years, I've never seen a discount agency that was very good. They may be better than you, but that doesn't make them good. So in today's day and age with AI tools, you absolutely, with a little bit of homework, you can make your own website with AI. You could get some help with AI to get things off of the ground. 100% you've got to focus on your Google business profile. You can educate yourself these days on YouTube to learn how to do the things you need to do at that beginner level. No question about it. No question about it. You do not need that. But once you get your fence company up to where you're now you're approaching $1 million a year in gross sales. Maybe you've topped it. Every fence company is a little bit different. Some folks can get all the way up to around $1.5 million in gross sales with one crack crew. Of course, there's subs and stuff that changes the equation. Right. But generally, a lot of fence companies, once they get to that 1 million, 1.25, 1.5 mark, now they've really got to start thinking about multiple crews, or maybe I have one in-house crews plus subs, and now I got to think about another truck, and like shit starts to get real at this point, yes. Right? Yes. Once it's getting real, you need a pro. Mm-hmm. That's the end of the story. It's not even, there's no question. That's the story.
Very true. Very true. Well, hey man, you got any closing thoughts for our viewers and listeners?
Invest in your education. Obviously you care about it. You're listening to this podcast, take in knowledge. The thing that you have that nobody else has is this 7 or 8 pounds of meat between your ears, your brain. That's right. Your knowledge, your experience, your passion, your way that you do things. This is the only thing that you have that nobody else has. You've got to invest in that, right? Knowledge of the industry. I would say, mind, body, soul, make sure your body's healthy, get your soul right. Like you got to keep that balance. If you are not the best you that you can be, it's going to be reflected around you and all your relationships and your business and the way your customers react to you. Man, invest in yourself. That's the best thing that you can do.
That's awesome. That's awesome, man. I love to hear that. Like for those who have more questions for you, or even for those of that are watching or listening who want to hire you, how do they go about that?
Well, as you can imagine, we are online at .com, globalmedia.com. So it's DOTCOM, globalmedia.com. And again, you've got sponsors. Mr. Fence Academy is a client of ours. So if you could go to Mr. Fence Academy, you'll see our logo, or, all you have to do is do a search for like .com fence marketing or something, and you'll find us in a second.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, hey man, I very much appreciate you taking time out of your day to come on the show and talk to me for about an hour. Very informative stuff. I look forward to seeing you at the retreat here soon. And yeah, man, I very much appreciate you coming on the show today.
It was my pleasure, man. I love this. Thank you. You run a great show, dude. Well done.
Thank you, sir. All right, man. I will talk to you soon at the retreat, and yeah, man, you have a wonderful rest of your day.
You too, buddy.
All right. Thank you, bud.
Take care.
All right, guys, we have another show in the books. We have another great show lined up for you guys next week. We have Mr. Caleb Roth coming back on the show, a returning guest. We're going to be talking about all things Stain and Seal University, which is coming up very soon, guys. So if you have any questions, or if you just want to find out some more information about like this year's university, make sure to tune in. We'll be on like Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, all live. You can also go catch the audio version at any major audio podcast platform. That includes iHeartRadio, Apple Radio, Google Music, Amazon, all of them. Go check them out. Go find it at The Gatekeepers Podcast. With that said, y'all have a wonderful rest of your Tuesday night. I will see y'all next week.